pick the conversation up. So, Daz, you're making your point regarding Harlem Eubank and Channel 5.
Yeah, I just think it's a poor showing from Channel 5. I mean, they need to. I think they need to put their ideas up. You know, terrestrial TV is good, but you've got to take advantage of it. And that fight as a main event was poor, shocking. So I definitely think Channel 5 need to put their ideas up, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, terrestrial TV is a great platform to build a profile, right? So it's got its place in British boxing, hasn't it?
Oh, 1,000,000%. It should be there. Boxing should be on terrestrial TV. But I mean, I suppose you could put the thing to Wasserman for delivering this rubbish. You know, they just need to do better. I mean, if you're only going to get 2 fights on a Friday night at 10 o'clock, then make them worth watching.
Yeah. So I'll come to you, Mr. Ashton, next. So take it away. Give us your thoughts.
Well, as I said before, I was actually flicking over quite early on in the fight because it was just dire. Daz summed it up really. A lot of holding. The referee had a shocker. Harlem Eubank, to think like a few fights ago that, you know, they were building up the Adam Azim fight.
Yeah.
You know, I've had people saying to me, "Oh, perhaps he put on a weak performance to get the Adam Azim fight, so they think he's a walkover." But that's very, very old school thinking for me. I think Adam Azim would comfortably beat him, and I do agree about the Chris Eubank effect thing. I think he's riding off Harlem Eubank's riding off the, you know, Chris Eubank being there for him with the fallout he's had with his son and that. As soon as, you know, if he patches things up, which we'll come to with his son, I think he'll leave Harlem Eubank and go with his son, and because I just don't see, like you're saying about the free to air building a profile. Harlem Eubank is not going to build a profile putting on performances like he's just done, because all it was doing was making people moan and switch off. So he's had no positive press after this weekend, and you know, the Adam Azim fight, which, you know, I wouldn't mind seeing, probably isn't going to happen now anyway. To think they built that up in the ring and doing a head-to-head, now it's just fell apart completely. But
if I was Harlem Eubank, Daz, I would see Channel 5 and Wasserman, with all due respect, as a gateway to get myself back on DAZN, Sky, and that sort of platform. So, like you said, you're going to have to entertain, right, to get anywhere near them sort of fights.
Well, yeah, of course you are. I mean, I do think sometimes, obviously, to who you're in with, but he done nothing in that fight to actually like make anybody say, well, there was nothing positive that come out of it, and there's no positive press for him. There was no one calling for the Adam Azim fight, whereas before people saying, I wouldn't mind seeing that. Yeah, it was a shocker in all honesty.
I've said this to Kaz Sahar, head of Sport Channel 5. There needs to be more done regarding the build up to the fight as well to get the general public interested.
Yeah, I don't think they promote it very good. I mean, I know Wasserman's the actual promoter, but yeah, there's not really a lot that goes on social media like other promoters do. They, you know, fight week, there's little bits here and there, but there's nothing for when you've got the free to air platform. You should absolutely milk that on social media because of your viewing audience. They don't seem to do it for some reason.
Okay, coming to you. I know you've only seen highlights because obviously where you are in the world. What did you think?
For me, I wasn't that excited before this card to watch it either, and I couldn't watch the main part of it. But the Wasserman had the undercard on the website, so I watched the Sophie Alish fight, and I was more excited to see that one than the Eubank fight.
Yeah.
So and to see Sophie Alish back after so long time, and Adam Smith working as the manager for Sophie Alish.
Good fight,
yeah.
Good fighter she is.
Yeah. Very good. So I heard what reactions from after the Harlem Eubank fight, and I wonder, is he at welter now? The fight was at welterweight.
I don't know whether he's going to continue at that weight, to be honest.
He shouldn't do.
No, he shouldn't. No.
No. Okay, let's move on from that exciting show on Friday night. Moving on to Cambosis Junior, who signed a co-promotional deal with Matchroom, is going to operate at 140, is what the noise that's coming out regarding Cambosis. I'm going to come to Mr. Ashton first on this one. Matchroom making a play in Australia and New Zealand with this one, Daz?
Yeah, it's a good signing. I mean, if you look at what he's done lately, he has actually lost like 3 out of the last 4, albeit it's a really, really good competition. But the one thing you can say about Georgios Kambosos, he is a very, very exciting fighter to watch. He's going for a tear up, and they're on. I think is it the Liam Parrow fight they were on about, like they could aim for.
Well, I've heard Shakur Stevenson.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, really good fight. I mean, they definitely need to mix it up a little bit. I think on Matchroom. I mean, even though we're saying about the shows in this country, we want more. With the stars they've got, like with is it Justice Uni as well? They've got like that side of the world,
Yeah, heavyweight, right?
Yeah. I mean, from what I've seen, they're stepping his competition back a little bit from one of his next opponents. I've seen touted, but if they're going to obviously sign stars from that side of the world, then why not put a big show? And I think Hawkan will know this as well. There's quite a bit of the touted card. Is it the Shanika Johnson rematch as well with was it Nina Hughes? Was it? Is that the fight? So it'd be a good card. It'd be a good card to see.
Okay, thank you very much. Hawkan, coming to you next. Give us your thoughts on Kambosos signing with Matchroom.
DiBella has done a great show earlier this year in Australia, and I think Matchroom will do something big in Australia in the upcoming year. And this is a good signing to do some shows in Australia for Matchroom co-promoting with DiBella. And it looks to be a fairly good show in February in Brisbane or in Gold Coast. What I've heard would be the location. And Boxing News has come out with the news that it will be 2 female world title fights on the undercard. And one is Shanika Johnson versus Nina Hughes rematch, and the other is Sky Nicholson versus Tiara Brown. And regarding Nina Hughes, I'm surprised, but maybe she didn't want to go back to Australia. And maybe this is the only opportunity to have the rematch, that it could be on a big platform. So that's what I think.
Okay. I mean, coming to Mr. Metcalf next, it's not first time Eddie's been down in Australia putting shows on, is it? He's well versed to doing it. Do you think this is a good signing, Daz?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I always stand by my opinion on Kambosos. I don't think he beat Lee Selby. I think he was quite fortunate to get a decision of Lee Selby, if I'm honest. Very fortunate to get a decision of a Maxi Hughes. I don't think he's great. I really don't. He's got a big personality. That gets him quite far, but he comes up short. He comes up short at world level in the ring. I know he beat Teofimo, but I think Teofimo was somewhere else that night. But look, yeah, he's a big personality. Like I say, seems like a good guy as well. And that card looks decent. I mean, I don't know what impact Tiara Brown will have on Sky Nicholson, if I'm honest. I think Sky Nicholson is going to be very, very, very hard to beat. Shanika Johnson and Nina Hughes. Listen,
close.
I had that fight, Shanika Johnson winning that fight by 3 rounds. I think, what happened after with the MC. It's the only fight I've known where the MC messed up and then everyone's screaming it were a robbery because the MC messed up. I mean, it would. I'll be honest with you, right? And I don't mean this. Listen, I train Nina, one of Nina's rivals, but it's got nothing to do with it. Nina didn't come across very well in the aftermath of that. You know, there was a lot of whinging and whining.
I think she's got more in her, Daz. I think she underperformed that night. I think she's got a few more gears.
Mate, I don't think she has. She does the same thing all the time. I think Chanika does the same thing she did that night and wins.
It'd be boring if we agreed every time, wouldn't it? So
yeah, of course it would. Yeah. Listen, I do think Nina's a good fighter, though. Don't get me wrong. I do think she's a good fighter, but I think Chanika had a number that night. You know, she boxed the right fight.
I think she's got a few more levels in it, but we'll find out, won't we?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see when it happens. Listen, you know, she's a Brit. She's a Brit at the end of the day, and you know, it'd be nice for her to win. She's a Brit. She's a mum. She's, you know, listen, no matter what back and forth she's had, you know, with a certain fighter, she seems all right. She seems like a decent person. So yeah, wish her well.
And I'll move on to Andy next. Andy, can you hear us? Well, there's a massive delay. There's a massive delay if you can. Let me just give him to you.
Gone.
So that's everybody on that one, right, guys? So we'll move on to the next one. This one's an interesting one. I'm gonna throw it in now. So obviously, Chris Eubank Jr. has done a bit of a lengthy interview in the week, really saying that he wants his dad back in his fold now. I'm a bit cynical on this one. I think this might be due to the Conor Benn fight coming up. We all know it's going to happen in February. Worst kept secret in boxing. And I think that topic that we've all been talking about for a long time on WhatsApp, the commercial value of this fight, is a lot higher if you got both dads in the corner, right? So that's what I reckon this play is. But I'm going to come to Orkan first. Orkan, give us your thoughts on Eubank Jr. wanting Eubank Sr. back.
Yeah, I think, like you said, that the Benn fight is it's very close to be announced for February, and I think
this week, you reckon?
Yeah, so I think that he had gone out that he wanted Senior back in his team is that maybe Nigel will be back, will be with Conor. So I think that's the reason. That
who wins, Orkan? Who wins the fight?
I think Junior wins it, but he needs to do more than 60%. That he did the T-shirt 60% for the when it was announced the first time 2 years ago.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to Mr. Metcalf. I know you don't like these sort of fights, Dad. You mentioned it. But it's going to happen whether you like it or not, mate, really,
isn't it? Yeah, of course it is.
So give us is this a PR stunt? And give us your thoughts on who wins this fight.
I hope not. I hope Chris Jr. genuinely wants to reconnect with his dad. But yeah, the fight makes more money if, you know, Eubank Senior and Ben Senior stood with the sons, doesn't it? Makes a lot more sense. It's going to happen. No amount not wanting it to is going to change that. You know, listen, there's a big size advantage between them as well. I mean, I don't know what Chris has got left.
What weight do you think this happens at? Catch weight? Somewhere around?
Yeah. I think they'll come. I mean, Chris's best weight is. I mean, Chris has been like has he been a super middle or a middle for his last fight? We're middle for his last fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Conor, welterweight. probably somewhere in between 156, maybe.
Eubank ain't getting down to that though, Daz, is it?
Well, he's going to struggle, innit? But then you're going to think, well, I mean, listen, Connor said he would go up to 160. So if he's going to do that,
if I was Eubank Jr., I'd be dragging him up, wouldn't you?
Mate, Eubank, I don't think Eubank makes middle easy either.
No.
I don't think Eubank Jr.'s got a lot left. I don't think Conor Benn's anything to write up about when he's clean. I mean, listen, it's two fighters trading off the dad's names for a big fight, a big payday. Like I said over day on our discussion on our group chat, I hope that, you know, there's some honest pros on the undercard who get good paydays on back of it.
Yeah. Who wins, Daz?
It's interesting. You know what, mate? And I probably might shock you that I said this. I think Conor Benn might win.
Really? Interesting. Moving on to Mr. Ashton. So same with you. Is this a PR stunt, Daz? And who you got winning this?
First of all, I actually found it quite sad watching that interview with Chris Eubank Jr. like basically pleading with his dad to come back to his team. You know, I think it is a PR stunt as regards, you know, there's no doubt about it. With both the fathers involved, this is going to do even more massive numbers than what it was going to do before.
Dad, you know the problem I've got is that Chris Eubank Sr. said he wouldn't be involved in this fight because for his son to get down to in and around 158, 159, his son would be killing himself. So if he, you know, he's meant to be a principled guy into Eubank Sr., so I think he's got a job on getting him back involved in this fight.
I was just going to come to that. I think it's like sort of like in Eubank Jr.'s head as a PR